Now we are going on to look at the latest developments from the war in West Asia. Well, we are 1 month into the war now, and in the latest developments that we are tracking, UAE has stated that its defense systems are dealing with missile and drone threats from Iran. Joining us on the broadcast to discuss the latest developments from the war, Commodore D.S. Sodhi, who is a defense expert, and Anita Chaudhary, foreign affairs expert. Thank you so much to the both of you for taking out your time and for speaking to NewsX. A very good afternoon as well. Commodore Sodhi, if I can start off with your comments and observations regarding what actually is the implication of the war. Now we are 1 month into it, sir. We are not seeing any of the hostilities end. We've been discussing the latest developments. The attacks continue. But the implications, sir, the UAE is seeing a lot of damage. Dubai is seeing one of the attacks that are in fact targeting all its residential facilities. Commercial places are also attacked. We are seeing energy infrastructure being targeted. So in the end, we are seeing Gulf countries actually suffering the most.
Very good afternoon to you, Shivani, and the viewers, as well as to my co-panelist Anita. Well, Shivani, in the very beginning, the intent of US was to carry out attacks on Iran to see that there is a regime change, as well as to destroy the nuclear weapon program of Israel. But every day we have been seeing and watching that this goalpost is changing, and the terms are also changing. From the two earlier mentioned, US came up with a new goalpost saying that they would totally annihilate Iran. They would destroy their missiles, their missile launches, their missile production capacity, their nuclear assets, as well as their other military assets. And what we have seen is that the escalation is going up every day. The statements which are coming from basically from the US, one doesn't know, it's sort of deception which is happening and how to take those statements. At one end, the US is talking about carrying out discussions with Iran. At the other end, you find that the warnings are being sent to Iran. Iran, at the other end, has very clearly stated that there are no discussions, direct discussions with US that have happened. However, they have accepted that they have received the proposal through a mediator. Now, coming to the attacks, you see when Iran is getting hit by Israel as well as by US, and the attacks have been on in every sector, whether you talk of energy sector, you talk of industrial assets, you talk of economic hubs. Iran has the options available to Iran are that they carry out retaliatory attacks on Israel, as well as the countries in the Middle East, where the American assets and the bases are there. So since Iran is getting attacked every day and the frequency of attacks is increasing, Iran in turn is hitting UAE, they are hitting Bahrain, Kuwait, Qatar. I mean, all the Middle East countries where they find that the presence of American assets as well as their soldiers is there. Now you also look at the statements which have come now recently from the US. Earlier it was stated that they will see to it that the Hormuz Channel is open, and then only they will think of coming to the negotiations tables or to some sort of a pause or to bring this conflict to an end. But now they are making a statement that there is no need, even if Hormuz is blocked, they can still go ahead with the discussions and end to the pause to this conflict. So there is total confusion all around. The Middle East countries, they are, as of now, they are, just bringing down the missiles and drones which are being, fired at them. However, from their side, the retaliation is not that much or the way it should be done on Iran. Middle East countries have also spoken to US, they have discussed with US, and they are, they have proposed to US that they should carry on with the attacks on Iran, because they fear that Iran should be totally annihilated, because in case US moves out of the war and Iran is there, then it's a big threat to these Middle East countries. So under these conditions, what we can say is that this escalation is going to go on, and so far as an end to this conflict is concerned, as of now, with the statements which have come from Iran, maybe backdoor channel talks are on, but discussions and negotiations formally have not taken place.
Absolutely. So, some very interesting points over there. I will circle back to Ms. Chaudhary on this, but let me first introduce another piece of information that is coming our way. Israel has launched another large-scale attack targeting Iranian infrastructure. Now, the strikes focus on key military and industrial sites, according to initial reports, as the conflict escalates in the region. Anita Chaudhary, ma'am, if I can come to you now regarding your observations in this war. Obviously, we are also talking about Israel still striking Iran. Israel is fighting a multi-front war. It's fighting Hezbollah, it's fighting the Houthis, who have also announced that they have joined, they are also targeting Israel. It's also in fact targeting now Iran. So we are seeing that Israel is continuing its strikes, and we have US on the other hand, ma'am, where they are talking about dialogue now, they are talking about diplomacy, but they are also in fact talking about placement of troops and more troops in the region. So how are you looking at the war 1 month into it now?
Look, at one side, Trump is saying that yes, we are ready to talk, and without any promises and any any other escalation, we are ready to open the Strait of Hormuz without any conditions. But the other hand, he is also saying that we will send the ground battalions and all that. So I think Trump is taking time for more preparedness of the American troops and the strategy, and he is trying to negotiate with the neighboring countries also, NATO's also, because but we have also seen that no one country is at this point supporting America or Trump. Israel has already in the war. It's not a new thing for the Israel. Israel is we have seen last year also, and last to last year also, that Israel was fighting with the Iran. Iran was attacking Israel. Israel was fighting with the Lebanon and the Houthi and Hezbollah and Hamas and Palestine.